A 22-year-old South Jersey YouTuber is accused of orchestrating a $1.5 million fraud scheme.
That she would prey on her followers to line her own pockets.
The minute that you get called out and put in your place and told that you were wrong, all of a sudden, now I'm blocked.
January of 2019, New Jersey police found 2 debit cards, 39 stolen blank checks, and thousands of dollars in cash. The evidence led them to an unlikely ringleader, social media influencer Kayla Massa. Massa's Instagram account is now private, but before she was forced to hide her page, Kayla ran a thriving personal brand. Her page boasted over 300,000 followers and fed into her personal YouTube channel. Kayla posted a few videos with her sister where they made typical vlogger content. The channel only garnered 100,000 subscribers. However, YouTube wasn't Kayla's main focus. Her Instagram page was most important. She used her Instagram to post selfies of a wide variety. She even has a fan page dedicated to reposting them. Many influencers use this kind of fame to sell lines of products or merchandise like Mr. Beast or Jeffree Star. However, Kayla didn't create a product for her followers so much as she created a product for herself. After gaining her 300,000 plus followers, Kayla started posting photos of herself holding wads of cash. The captions asked her followers if they were interested in making easy money like this, and if they were, they should DM her. Trust me. The majority of these posts were stories. Fortunately, some of Kayla's followers screenshotted the posts. The stories send a clear message. Kayla was making money through some magical virtual wallet. She'd often pose an ATM receipt or USPS money order slip next to her stacks of cash. Most people read phrases like, "If you have a bank account and want to make some extra bread." Many of Kayla's victims were longtime followers who watched her tell stories on YouTube and liked Kayla's intimate photos of her and her boyfriend. They knew Kayla's friends and family members whenever they made appearances on her vlog or Instagram. In other words, many victims felt like they knew Massa. And, as previously mentioned, Kayla looked successful. She must be doing something right. Sure enough, Kayla's DMs were flooded with people interested in making some extra bread. Kayla created a system for how to respond to interested investors. For example, if you DM'd Kayla about the money opportunity, she typically responded with a poorly written message saying in quote, "So basically my business partner owns his own business. We deposit a check through ATM," claiming as if you worked. She also said it takes 1 or 2 days to process. "I would need your online banking and card and a PIN. We would have to meet up. If you have any questions, you can ask me." Prosecutors used that very message as evidence against her. As the message indicates, Kayla claims that she's using her business partner's other business to cash in fake checks. These kinds of fake checks usually came from tax write-offs, but sometimes they just came straight from the company's payroll. Kayla then set up meetings with interested followers. Since they had to hand over extremely personal information, Kayla usually recommended meeting somewhere discreet. Her favorite meetup locations were parking lots, which sounded sketchy to a lot of people. Kayla ensured the victim that their money would be safe and sound. To make sure of this, Kayla instructed the customer to empty their bank accounts. That way, even with their information, Kayla couldn't possibly steal their money. They believed her more often than not. Logically, it makes sense. However, they'd soon learn about other ways to steal funds from an empty bank account. The victim innocently handed Kayla their debit cards, bank information, passwords, PIN numbers, and account numbers. They even gave her their security questions and answers. Kayla thanked them and said they were about to make a lot of money. And by they, she meant her and the rest of her accomplices. It was all a part of the system. The cast of characters include Kayla's boyfriend, Jordan Heron, who she dated for a year between March 2017 to October 2018. Larry Massa, Kayla's little sister, was also involved, alongside her boyfriend Erasmo Feliciano. Kayla was the ringleader. Her sister's boyfriend Jordan and Feliciano helped Kayla run the scam. Meanwhile, Larry operated a few accounts of her own. William Logan, a friend of Kayla's, operated his own social media accounts, several in fact, mainly on Instagram. His involvement helped Kayla's scheme grow to new heights. Logan knew other social media users and influencers who were interested in the scam. Logan recruited Alex Haynes, a local car dealership employee in New Jersey, who helped the crew out by setting up more accounts and stealing blank checks. Kayla's crew stole 1,238 checks. One of their biggest targets was a Nissan dealership in Turnersville. In February 2019, Turnersville reported several strange activities on their business accounts to local investigators. The dealership showed the investigators screenshots of check transactions they weren't aware of, and there were a lot of them. Turnersville counted around 697 checks cashed from their Bank of America account. Kayla and her accomplices cashed these checks for a total of $128,000. After getting access to the victim's bank account, the crew stole stacks of blank checks from the Nissan dealership. From there, they'd forge their victim's name onto the check, along with a smaller amount like $450. Then, they'd deposit the check into the victim's account. Nissan Turnersville wasn't the only company the Massa 9 stole from. Alex stole checks from the dealership he worked at, Woodsboro Nissan. He happened to work in the payment processing department, giving direct and exclusive access to Woodsboro's blank checks. The crew also stole checks from a mechanic shop and a couple other dealerships in the New Jersey area. USPS issued a complaint against Kayla. The complaint is 67 pages long and tells, in great detail, how Kayla and her accomplices scammed over $1.5 million from 45 victims in the northeastern United States. The report somewhat resembles the alleged criminal escapades of Frank Abagnale. The only difference between Kayla and Abagnale is Kayla didn't have to disguise herself. The report focuses on how she actually stole her victims' money and wreaked havoc on their bank account, which wouldn't have been possible without Kayla's social status. The post office explained the clever methods Kayla used to scam her victims, like money orders and fake checks. Unlike Abagnale in Catch Me If You Can, Kayla simply stole blank checks and forged the necessary information onto the check. She, of course, couldn't do all this alone. By contrast, Kayla recruited 9 other people into her scam. As for the mail money orders, those were much simpler. You need a debit card to order money through the post office, and Kayla had a lot of debit cards. Though there was one setback. The post office only allows orders under $1,000. So, for Kayla to make the mail orders worth her while, she had to order a lot of them. Once she got the money order in the mail, Kayla or an accomplice took the money to a check cashing place and deposited the cash. The process, according to court documents, took about 4 days. According to data collected by the USPS, Kayla's order sizes typically ranged from $850 to $950. She typically used Western Union, one of the largest financial institutions in the world. They reported to authorities that Kayla and her team cost them $596,000 in fraudulent money orders. Many of their victims suffered losses as well. Kayla, after obtaining access to the victim's bank account and debit card, used the card to buy multiple money orders. One victim, who chose to go by MD on police reports, gave Kayla their bank account info and debit card. Kayla then used the information and card to draft 5 money orders from the victim's TD bank account. Then she gave the mail orders over to her boyfriend Jordan, who deposited the cash back into MD's account. Kayla and company then used the debit card to spend the cash and overdraw the account until TD Bank halted MD's account after accruing $3,738 in debt. It doesn't matter if you drain your bank account, you can still spend money that doesn't exist. They'll just come looking for it later. Many of Kayla's victims, like MD, tried contacting her after seeing their accounts were severely overdrawn. But before they could ask questions or make any demands, Kayla blocked their Instagram account or phone number. The victims contacted Kayla through social media and phone number correspondence. They didn't know their address or any information about her or her accomplices. So, once Kayla pressed the block button on the other user's profile, that was it. Game over. One victim in particular, referred to as CF on police reports, tried contacting Kayla after seeing their account was overdrawn by nearly $4,000. They tried texting and calling the number Kayla gave them, but found that their beloved influencer had blocked them. With no way to contact Kayla or any of the other accomplices, CF was left with $3,900 of debt to pay off. Another victim had a similar experience. However, they managed to use a different account and messaged Kayla, saying they would call the cops if she didn't return their money. Kayla texted back, "Do what you gotta do." After Kayla was arrested, she made her famous Instagram account private, so no one could see her stories and posts about the money scam. But most importantly, no one could see how she bragged about all the expensive items she bought with her stolen money. Kayla and her accomplices spent thousands of dollars on jewelry, clothes, drugs, and anything else to make themselves look richer than they were. Apparently, fake it till you make it isn't always true. The prosecutors charged Kayla and company with conspiracy to commit fraud and wire fraud.